Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple, the winning couple from the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, may have wanted to move to New York in the future, but Chock's refusal to leave Wichita is forcing Joan to make a difficult decision. Throughout Season 1 of the Golden Bachelorette, Joan and Chock found each other among a sea of men vying for her attention. Joan ultimately selected Chock, and the two established a solid basis for their friendship as they moved forward beyond the show. Joan and Chock were eager to start a life in New York City after announcing their impending move. Joan and Chock's lives after the Golden Bachelorette suddenly became much more public than the private relationship they had when the show was broadcast. With their love in the spotlight, Joan and Chock attempted to keep viewers updated on what their lives were like after appearing on Bachelor Nation. The pair stated that they were looking for a property in NYC, but after some back and forth over the holidays, things have felt much more sluggish. While Joan remains determined to relocate to New York City, Chock does not appear to be as enthusiastic about the relocation. Although Joan and Chock haven't been completely forthcoming on social media about what's going on in their lives as they prepare to relocate, it's evident that they've been looking for a place in New York City that suits them. Following the finale of the Golden Bachelorette, the couple went real estate hunting, and Joan has returned to the city several times since. While Chock has invested in Joan, he does not appear to be as involved in the concept of moving to New York. Chock, a native of Kansas, appears to prefer sticking in his comfort zone rather than migrating to New York City. He's been outspoken about his affection for Kansas, and his business is based in Wichita, so he's been there for a long time. While he's been traveling back and forth to see Joan, Chock may be a homebody in Kansas who encourages Joan to accompany him. While Chock hasn't explicitly stated that he wants to stay in Kansas rather than go to New York City, it's evident that he prefers his hometown to a new location. Chock has shared a lot of information from and about Kansas in recent months, indicating that his business is a top priority in his life. Chock adores Kansas because he knows it well. After reassessing, it's probable that Chock may not want to leave Kansas and instead wants Joan to reevaluate her ideas for where they'll reside in the future. Chock may need to reconsider her plan to move to New York City with Joan if she prefers to stay in Kansas. Joan, who presently lives in Maryland near her family, has previously stated that she would be open to relocating, but that was when NYC was on the table. Joan may need to reevaluate her priorities and determine whether she wants to be with Chock in Kansas now that the relocation is no longer in New York. While the Golden Bachelorette star adores Chock, it may be a difficult decision. Joan Vassos sat on the patio of her Maryland home, the late afternoon sun warming her face as she scrolled through real estate listings in New York City. Her heart was still set on the dream she and Chock Chapple had built together, one where they'd walk through Central Park in the fall, find their favorite little coffee shop, and immerse themselves in the vibrant energy of the city. But lately, that dream felt more like a solo endeavor than a shared adventure. Chock had always been hesitant about the move, but Joan had hoped his love for her would outweigh his attachment to Kansas. They had spent the holidays together, blending their families and traditions, and while they were joyful moments, there was an underlying tension neither of them addressed. Now, months later, Joan was starting to wonder if love alone could be enough to bridge the gap between their desires. "I just don't know if I can leave Wichita," Chock admitted over the phone one evening. "My business is here, my life is here. Moving to New York would mean leaving everything behind." "But we talked about this, Chock," Joan said, her voice tinged with frustration. "We planned this together. I thought we were on the same page." "I know, and I tried, but every time I think about it, He hesitated, and she could hear the strain in his voice. "Joan, I love you, but I'm not sure I can do this." Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken fears and the weight of compromise. Joan had never doubted that they loved each other, but was love supposed to feel like this, a constant negotiation of dreams and expectations? As the weeks passed, Joan made several trips to New York, exploring apartments and imagining a future there. Chock visited when he could, but each time he did, she sensed his reluctance. He marveled at the skyline, enjoyed the food, but his heart never seemed fully in it. He belonged in Kansas, and she was beginning to realize that maybe she belonged somewhere else. One evening, as she sat in a cozy cafe near Central Park, Joan met up with an old friend, Lisa. They talked about life, love, and the choices that defined them. "You have to ask yourself, Joan," Lisa said gently, "are you compromising too much? Are you sacrificing your happiness for someone else's comfort?" The question lingered with Joan long after their conversation ended. She loved Chock, but she had spent years putting others first, her children, her late husband, and now, Chock. When was it her turn to choose herself? The next time Joan and Chock met, it was in Kansas. He had planned a beautiful weekend for them, trips to his favorite spots, dinners at the best local restaurants, and quiet moments on his porch under the vast Kansas sky. He was trying, she knew, but there was an undeniable truth settling in her heart. "Chock," she said softly one evening, taking his hand in hers. "I don't think we want the same things." His face fell, but he nodded slowly. "I was afraid you'd say that. I love you, but I can't ignore what I want any longer. I can't keep hoping you'll change your mind. And I know you don't want to force yourself to be somewhere you don't belong." Chock squeezed her hand, his eyes filled with sorrow. "I just wanted to make you happy." "I know," she whispered. "But we deserve to be happy in our own ways." Tears welled in Joan's eyes as she realized what this meant. Their love was real, but sometimes love alone wasn't enough. She had always believed in fairy tales, but maybe this was the ending she needed, a chapter closing so another could begin. As Joan boarded her flight back to Maryland, she looked out the window, the Kansas fields stretching far and wide below her. She was heartbroken, but she was also free. It was time to start a new journey, one where she chose herself, even if it meant walking alone. They are determined to face challenges together, offering each other unwavering support and encouragement. Their journey is a reminder that love, when nurtured with care and authenticity, can withstand any test of time. With their wedding on the horizon and a future filled with possibilities, Joan and Chock are looking forward to this new chapter in their lives. They are excited to build a home together, explore the world, and continue sharing their journey with fans. Their story is one of hope, proving that love is not confined to youth, nor is it scripted, it is something real, raw, and ever-evolving. Joan and Chock's journey has not only been a personal triumph but also a source of inspiration for countless people. By openly sharing their experiences, they have challenged the notion that reality TV romance is always fleeting. They have shown that with dedication, communication, and an open heart, true love can be found and nurtured. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe my channel and do not miss any update.